welcome back to another video. I'm here with the Denali 6.2 liter, strong engine, reliable engine. Till you're driving, all of a sudden, the dashboard starts freaking out, check engine lights, the truck looks like it's gonna explode, it starts losing power, pop, 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 and you coast off to the side of the road. What just happened? Well, you start the truck back up, it sputters, and then catches, it runs like crap, but you can get to where you need to go. Well, one, it could be the cam sensor. Two, it could be the crank sensor. So, if you're coming to this video, you tried the crank sensor, you tried the cam sensor. Well, you found out the code was for the crank sensor, but you replaced it. Now, you go from your crank sensor. Now you replace, well, let me check the plug. So now you check the voltage at the plug. The plug is kind of like out of whack. Replace the plug. Plug the plug in. Same symptoms. Same thing. Okay, what's going on? One side you have your 5 volt reference, but now it's not 5 volts. It's more like 4 and change, or 4.3. or even 4.0. You check your center, you have ground, you check your reference, and you have a weird residual 2 volts, 1 volt, what have you. Guess what? Now, your computer's bad. So, but before you do that, make sure you trace the wire. Go from the plug, follow the wire down across the engine to the driver's side, up the engine, and around right to the computer. Make sure the entire run of the purple, gray, and white wire, there's no issues with the wire. It didn't crack, it doesn't have a cut in it, no corrosion. They're perfect all the way down to the computer. Make sure that it doesn't have issues. If you can confirm that the wire from the computer all the way to the plug that you just more than likely just redid, because you're getting the same voltages now, is good, now you're looking at a new computer. I got the new computer from this, from New York. I'll post the link down in the description so that you can pick it up. It wasn't too bad. It was $170. It came completely set up for the VIN. They set it up where it's plug and play. You don't have to do nothing. The only thing you have to do is do a key reset, which you have to follow it to the T. You can't just go, because it does say in the directions, you know, do it X amount of time or till the check engine light comes off. Don't do that. Time it. Time it the best of your ability so that you can get your keys, both of them, in sync with that computer, okay? Because if you just wait till the check engine light comes off or whenever, it's not really programming correctly. Just wait for that time. Time it with your phone. So once you do get the computer and the keys synced up, now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do a crank sensor relearn. You may have to do a throttle body relearn. You may have to do a camshaft relearn. It depends on the vehicle. This one here, I had to do a camshaft relearn, crankshaft relearn, and also the throttle body, because it was acting kind of, I mean, you could get away with it. Don't get me wrong, you get away with it. But I did it anyway so that the truck runs smooth, it runs like it's supposed to. And now there's no issues. If you don't have the capabilities of doing that, bring it to a mechanic, throw him some money if possible, find a friend that has the capabilities of doing these relearns so that the truck runs like it's supposed to, so you don't have any issues. Now, the other thing is, let's just say you replaced your crank sensor. You replaced that plug. wired correctly. I have another video on how to correctly wire these with the purple, white, and gray, where they're supposed to go. Just double check that. Make sure they're in the right spot. You replace the computer. All the wires are fine. You go to start it up. You still do not have the RPM gauge working. It's still throwing out a code saying that the crankshaft sensor is not working. There's a fault. Well, what you might want to try is another brand new crank sensor. Why? I have no clue. But for some reason on this truck, it must have either messed them up or something happened. I have a strange feeling that the heat shields are missing on this side. And I have a strange feeling that the heat soak was too much for the sensor and the plug. And it's caused the new crank sensor to get messed up. So just double check your crank sensor before you go and buy it. Obviously, what you want to do is take it out of the block, leave it hanging, keep it plugged in. Before you disconnect this stuff, disconnect the negative cable so you don't possibly short out your new or the other. Whenever you do stuff like this, just disconnect the negative battery cable. It's quick. Disconnect this, take it out, put it under the truck, plug it back in, put your negative cable back on, turn it to run. With your digital meter, probe the two wires, your 5-volt in constant and your signal wire, and then check this. Make sure it's cycling on and off. You can take a piece of metal, a socket, nice chrome socket, just pass by it like this. Make sure it's cycling 5-volt, 0-volt, 5-volt, 0-volt. If it's not doing anything, your brand new sensor is garbage. Get another one. Most of these are lifetime warranty. Plug it back in and then try it again. That's what worked on this truck. It drove me nuts. I'm like, what the hell? I redid everything. What's going on? The brand new sensor, garbage. I went back, got a new one, swapped it out, warranted it, got the new one, plugged it in, boom, fired right up. So just double check after all this is done and you're still having the issue, check this sensor. Make sure, in fact, it's still working. If your truck also is missing those heat shields, the one that's on the starter and the one that goes on the exhaust manifold, make yourself a heat shield. Don't let the heat soak come from the exhaust, come down between it's bad enough between the block and the starter, but don't let the heat soak from the exhaust manifold and the cat come down there and just make it worse. Make a heat shield. So double check this, check your computer, and hopefully I help a lot of you out in maybe figuring out something or problem that you can't figure out. So thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.